Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupini avatara varishtaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadmi Tayosritva Pranamami Mihori Namasri Itirajaya Vivekananda Suri Satchisaka Swarupaya Swamini Nabhari. Dear Pranaji and the devotees, the last of the 3 talks I'm supposed to give here. Cultivating a meditative way of life. Why and how? That's the topic. Because meditation itself is a much misunderstood word. Everyone wants to meditate. Quite often in Delhi, I find people, I'm just maybe going to my office. On the way, Swami, I'm not able to meditate. How should I do it? Obviously, you can't. If this is your approach to meditation, how will you do it? You have to at least sit down. So, meditation, everyone wants to meditate. It's a catchword now. There was a doctor who survived the concentration camp. He was Viktor Frankl, an Austrian doctor. He says, then he wrote a small book, a new idea of psychology called logotherapy. He says that when we understand the why of anything, the how becomes much easier. So it's very important we know why should we meditate. Then we can really think of how to meditate. But the other part of it normally I used to sit and do along with you. But then I have to do a standing session because of the online thing that's going on. So why should we meditate? Let us try to find out. Shankaracharya says in the Vivek Chudamani, Durlabham Tremevaitat Devanugrahitukam Manushyatvam Mokshatvam Mahapurusha Sanshraya. He says 3 things are very rare and are obtained only through the grace of God. What are they? First, in that he names Manushyatvam, the human birth. If, supposing, in the living species in this world, billions and billions of such, what is the human percentage? May not be even 1%, much less than that, most probably. So obviously, it's a very, very rare gift of God, rare gift of nature, whatever you might call it. It was not something we worked for. We are born, then only we know we are. So, having got that, then he says, the next gift it, whether you have the desire for liberation, freedom. I think, if all human endeavors were to be captured in a single word, freedom would be the one word that would satisfy 99.99% of our desires and aspirations and efforts and so on and so forth. So, having been born as a human being, the desire for liberation, that's the problem with majority of mankind. We think we are free, we are happy. No, we are not free at all. We are bound hand and feet by hundreds of things. The society, our education, our birth, our heritage, even our being a man and a woman, old, young, hundreds of things bind us hand and feet. So seeking liberation, aspiring for that is an extraordinary gift of God, grace of God. Or whatever you might be. Because how many people really understand? Day after day they fight in the family. And then every now and then go somewhere for 2 days, holidays or some 5-star eating out or something, and then come back and fight again. It goes on endlessly. Do we ever realize that there's a state when we can be completely free from all? Is it possible? Even aspiring from that, for that is grace of God into Shankaracharya. And then he also says that Mahapurusha Samshraya, the company of the holy, company of the enlightened, because you might have this also, but where is the proof? Where is the validation? It's all said in the scriptures in ever so many places. Do we know whether they are really true? Do such people exist? Or it's all only just mere theory? So when you see someone like that, all those ideas are completely validated. You also feel that yes, it's worth striving, it's worth aspiring for, it's worth the effort. All that would come when you seek the company. That's why people seek the company of the holy. Even many in the Puranas and other that kind of books, they talk about even robbers and dacoits and others seeking the company, protection of someone holy and all that. So these three things he says are very rare and got only through the grace of God. So having got the human birth, do we feel the urge for liberation? Do you feel that you are bound, you're completely restrained, constricted, just unable to really be free? Has it struck you? Are you aware of that? That's very important. Of course, the Gita also says how difficult it is. It's kind of awareness. Because it says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tattvataha. It says, amongst thousands and thousands and thousands of people, the rarest of the rare get an inkling of all that. Manushyanam sahasreshu, thousands of people, this idea, something superior, something transcendental, something called mukti or liberation, that strikes only for the rarest of the rarest. Then amongst thousands of people also, a rare one really reaches the ultimate or gets that ultimate free. So you can imagine the immensity and the extraordinariness of that kind of an aspiration or an effort or a goal. So this is the background. Then obviously the question comes, why is it so? Why do we not feel? It's all there. When someone explains, we somehow seem to understand, but it doesn't stick. It goes away. It's so momentary. It's so transient. Why is it so? Again, we have answers in our scriptures. Also, this is a beautiful sloka in the Kathopanishad, which explains this idea very beautifully. It says, Paranchikani vitirnat swayambhuho, parang pashyati nantaratma. So this, in nature, by the Creator, all our indriyas are constructed or made in such a way, they're always outgoing. Parang pashyati nantaratma. They don't gaze inwards. They don't look inwards. Eyes. How do we determine how far we can see? How far is our sight clear? Does a doctor ever test you? How about your inward looking? Are your eyes looking inward? Should I give you glasses for that? No one says. How far from a distance you can read? How far from a distance you can see? So, by very nature, they are made like that. Not to turn inward, not to go here. When somebody is standing at a feet of 50 feet, oh, he must be talking about me only. We get this phobia again and again. Somebody's talking about me, somebody's talking about me. So we never listen to the inner voice which constantly reminds us, your time is up, you're consuming time. Anytime you have to go, get prepared, be ready. Are you aware? Are you ready? You never listen. That's what Dharmaputra says in the Mahabharata, the very beautiful portion called Yaksha Prasna. The brothers went to fetch water One Yaksha asked them a question. They could not answer. And one by one, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva, they all dropped it. Finally, Yudhishthira went to rescue his brothers, and he finally rescued them. Then Yaksha also asked the question, what do you think is the greatest wonder? Yudhishthira says, we see people dying right in front of us, but we think that we are going to live for eternity. That's the greatest wonder. So it was, then all his brothers were given back their lives and they all came back. So all were saying, no, oh, I can't tolerate this smell. No, this doop stick, this insects, I don't like. But how much bad smell we are carrying? How much that kind of thing? We never complain. We are never aware. So everything is, in their very nature, our senses are made or constructed or created in such a way as to be always outward going, not inward. So much so, all our life, all our knowledge, everything is related to the external world. Something apart from you, external to you, apart from you, different from you. So all that we gather, all that we see, all that we hear, all that we smell, all that we touch, all that we speak of, it's all outside. So is it the only way? Is there no exception? The second line, the Upanishad says, yes, what is that? Kaschid dhiraha. Few extraordinary people. What did they do? Pratyekatmanam aikshat. They see the Pratyekatman, the Atman that is inside. How? Avritta chakshuhu. By turning their gaze inwards. Why they do it? Amritatva michan. They want immortality. They want to be eternal. Because you see, whatever we aspire for, whatever we try, whatever we acquire, whatever we build, whatever we make, everything is of the nature of perishable, isn't it? Everything is going. Nothing is going to be there forever. But do we recognize that? So, how this is done? What is the way? What is the method? So again, in the scriptures, our tradition, the Hindu tradition, is all very clearly given, made out. How is it? So now we clearly understand there is a need to seek something beyond, because all that experienced through the senses, gathered through the senses, they are all constantly vanishing. Even the most beautiful person, after some years, who is it? My picture. I can't recognize. Arey, kya ho gaya? Buddha ho gaya? You have become so old. What happened? Yes, age is caught up, gone. Everything. Wealth, health, money, possessions, everything constantly vanishing. Tsunami, the millionaires and paupers were standing in the same queue, relief camp. They also lost everything. These people also lost everything. So it can be such a level, such things can happen. So, discerning minds, those who can think, in those whom this mumukshutva has awakened. First thing is to recognize I am bound. That is the biggest step. If you think that everything is fine, with all the fights, with all the disagreements, with all that, people when they come and say, oh Maharaj, today is a 50th marriage anniversary. Oh, 50 years you have tolerated each other. Very good. So, everything is like that. Is it possible? When you understand the utterly transient nature of existence, all that our prized possessions, our wealth, our assets, our bank balance, our investments, our body, our mind, everything is transient. Body is transient, at least to some extent, we think of maybe once in a while, because we see people dying. The body aging, we clearly see. What I can do 10 years back, I can't do now. I can see clearly age is catching up. The mind is even more transient. Within seconds, it can go to 100 places. Body can't be that impermanent or that transient, but mind can be even million times more. In a second, you're sitting here now, just as you're here, immediately you are going to Switzerland, maybe Holland, but somewhere else where your daughter is there, your son is there, what's happening in the factory, something or other. So the mind is also transient. It's something beyond all that. So the first thing, the awareness, that is what is called that mokshutva, or desire for liberation, to be free, be completely free from all bondages, all limitations, all difficulties. So what is how does it happen? How does this awareness even dawns on an individual? How it is happen? That's why they say in the scriptures, when someone comes to read, they are not taught just like that. You must be an adhikari, a qualified aspirant. Because studying scriptures is not just bookish knowledge. One has to live that, realize the truth that is spoken of in the scriptures. What is that? The highest, the ultimate, the supreme goal of life, etc., etc. So then they say there are qualifications. Unless you qualify, unless you have all this, you cannot qualify. You are not eligible to read. So the first qualification that they speak of, that's an extremely important tool that will be so useful for all of us. In fact, if you have this one quality, the life can be so different in terms of quality, in terms of the way we behave, we perform, we understand, we react, act, everything. That is, they say, Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. Every day, understanding what is Nitya and what is Anitya. Supposing you, at the end of the day, we sit and try to understand today what all I did for 99.99% of humanity. The same percentage would be all related to Anitya. You tell me from getting up till now what all you did, or even what are you going to do throughout the day. Because all that relates to the perishable or the impermanent. So, when you do that, what happens? When we constantly try to do this, cultivate this mindfulness, this awareness about this Anitya and Nitya, then only that desire gets ignited. Oh, this is it. I am spending all my life, all my wealth, all my possessions, all that I have. It's not going to lead anywhere. It can all go away in a trice, in a moment. Does it mean that we will not make any effort at this end? Yes. But along with that, this awareness that all this can be absolutely momentary, absolutely temporary, can go away anytime. So this one idea is extremely important. And that is why that is given as the first step. Nitya, Anitya, Vastu, Viveka. Discriminating between the real and the unreal. So if any person, any discerning person, you don't have to be a doctorate or a PhD or anything else as a psychologist or whatever it is. Just a normal understanding. Just look around, see how people are, how things are happening in my life. What happened yesterday? What happened today? How the scenario keeps constantly changing. So that which is changing is Anitya. That which is permanent, unchanging, that is Nitya. So we say everything that we see seems to be Anitya. Is there anything Nitya? That's what, as we said in the morning in the path of Jnana, they say give up, give up, give up, give up. Niti, 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 not this, not this, not this. Anything that is temporary, anything that is of a perishable nature, no, not this. This is not the truth. This is not the ultimate. This is not the reality. Keep on negating. And finally, what remains is that which is Nitya or eternal. There's one path. The beauty is, every day we experience this. We go through these experiences of Nitya every day. But still, somehow, we are not able to hold on to it. It doesn't stick, let's say. That's why in the Shastra, one of the very popular methods used in Hinduism is an understanding or analysis of what is called the Avastatraya, 3 states of existence. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Waking state, dream state, and deep sleep or Sushupti. So, we are all concerned largely with the waking state. That only appears to be very real to us. But in dream, maybe tonight you will go back and dream that you have won $1 billion in a lottery. The morning when you get up, you will search for the lottery ticket or for how to get it. I don't know, but please come some answer. So, we know it is unreal. But when we go through the dream, is it unreal? It's absolutely real. Is it not? See, in the waking state, we clearly experience the body as well as the mind. There is this body, constantly we are using it. Mind also is there, constantly we are using it. So in the dream state, what happens? The body has no function at all. There's nothing happening in the body. All that is happening is at the level of the mind. So every day, even as you are dreaming, you completely get rid of this body. Is it not? Body is not there at all. So how impermanent, how anitya it is. Every day, in spite of all your robust health, all your yoga, all your gym, all your vitamins, all your everything, you completely lose this body. When you are in deep dreams, where is the body? Only the mind. It takes you to all kinds of places in a moment's notice, everywhere. So in deep sleep, when the mind is not there, mind is also gone completely. There's no body, there's no mind. But is there nothing at all? Yes, there is something. What is that? When you wake up, you say, oh, I slept very well. I was so happy. If you get good sleep, you always feel that, no, it's a very nice sleep you had, a very good experience. So I slept very well. So there is something which is the sakshi or the witness that was witnessing even as your body and mind were not functioning. There was something, just the body was not there, the mind was not there, but this sakshi, this witness, this I, that was there. But you recognize it when you wake up. At that time you say, oh, I was there. So that means there is something. This is always, see, even whatever you witness in the dream, it's all because of that sakshi only. Who witnesses what is happening? The innumerable places you go to, the experiences you enjoy, everything. Who is doing all that? That witness, that sakshi, that is doing all that. Dream also is there. Similarly, in the waking state also, all that you perceive, all that you experience, all that you hear, all that you smell, all that you eat, all that you speak, everything is with respect to an entity called I, or the sakshi, or the witness, is it not? So, what is that which is there always, eternally, permanently? It is that sakshi, or that witness, or that I. You call it as consciousness, you call it as Atman, you call it as Brahman, you call it anything. It's all happening, but it is there. Also, it's a Sri Ramakrishna, again, is a very beautiful parable. There's a farmer. He was that day working in the fields, and his wife was there at home, and suddenly her only child, the son, she died all of a sudden. So she became so distraught. She sent the message and the farmer came home. And he just looked at the dead body of the son and he was just stoic. There's no reaction, so to say. Then his wife became so angry. He shouted, "What is it? Are you stone? You have no feelings? Our only child, this boy has died. You can't even shed a drop of tear. What are you? Why are you like this?" And the farmer calmly explained, "You see, last night I had a wonderful dream. I saw that I was a very great king and I had 7 Rajkumars or princes, 7 sons. So I was ruling and it was so much mirth of joy and this and that. And suddenly the dream broke. And they were all there. So I'm wondering whether it should be for those 7 sons or for this one son." She was a great jnani, obviously. So, if you examine our lives, it's all like that. Whatever we attach so much importance to in the existential world, in our external world, in our waking state, it's all there for a very temporary time. And the scenario keeps on changing. See how important. See, now all of us are in this hall. They've all been there for quite some time, maybe 1.5 hours, so we have already spent. So all of us came together. All of us have only same 2 eyes, 2 ears. So now Prananji asks us, "Oh, all of you close your eyes. Please write down your observations about this room." None of the observations would match. Each would have some element which the other person does not say. See, if there is truth in the external world, it should appear same for everybody. The moment there is variation, that clearly shows the impermanent or totally unreliable nature of the external world or the existential world or life as such. So this awareness would slowly lead to the idea that need for that kind of a liberation or mukshutva or striving for that kind of a freedom, ultimate freedom. Because all of us, at the end of the day, we want peace, happiness, and all that. But, these are all words which we use without really understanding their deeper meaning. All of us are seeking freedom in the sense that we want to be free from all that is inhibiting us, all that is limiting us, all that is constricting us, all that is placing restrictions in our life. We want to be completely free, not bound by anything. So, externally also, it's easier to be free from some of the bondages. Supposing, you say you're so much, addicted to taking sweets, maybe 10, 15, 20. You can maybe discriminate and stop eating. It's possible. If you are very disciplined, you can get rid of some of those things. In the external world, which is apart from you, some kind of discipline, some kind of that kind of practice is possible. But when you go inwards, supposing you want to, what is the greatest obstacle in our idea of this ultimate freedom or total freedom? It's our own body and our mind. These are the greatest obstacles. Whatever you want is the notice was sent to so many people. Some saw the notice. Oh, okay, later on it will all be uploaded. Then we will see. The body says, and the mind says, the body accepts the suggestion and stops coming. The body is powerful. No, I'm going to go, come what may. Somebody has come from all the way from India. I will not miss the chance. The body asserts itself and the mind completely obeys. So constantly, always we are in that kind of a search for something, but quite often because of the conditionalities or the limitations of this body, the mind. Much more is the mind like that. Anything that you want to do, it says, no, don't do like this. Don't exert yourself, don't strain yourself, don't overdo things like that. Then you'll get sick. And then immediately you drop all that. So the search for that kind of something which is permanent, that which is eternal, that which is everlasting, that is really called, when you get it, is the search is that search for freedom or mukti. When you really get it, that's what it is, the ultimate. What is that? Again, various names are given for that. It's called Atman, it's called Brahman, it's called consciousness, it's called Chaitanya. So many names, all given for the same ultimate thing, meaning thereby that which is unchanging, that which is eternal, that is beyond time, space, and causation, that which has no birth, no death, no decay, etc., etc. Now, how do you really find it? What is it? Where do we find it? How do you get access to it? That is why so many disciplines, the paths for spiritual striving are prescribed. And one of that is this path of dhyana or meditation. Quite often, even when you are deeply disturbed by something, you go and sit quietly somewhere. Suddenly you find that after some time, the pain, the sorrow, the suffering, they seem to lessen for some time. Because by very nature, we are given to that. That's our real nature. That's why we constantly seek something which is eternal. Because all that is happening around is impermanent or ephemeral or anitya. But there is an intuitive awareness that there is something eternal, something that is permanent, that something that is long-lasting or lasting forever. Unconsciously we are, now and then, every now and then when we are reminded, when we get some big blows, when we suffer something, we seem to remember. Again we relapse, forget everything, get back to old ways. But those who hold on to it, they are the people who are mumukshus, those who seek liberation. They are not swayed. They say, yes, I may participate, I may be running an ashrama, I may be running a business, all that. But in and through all that, I hold on to that search for the supreme, search for the eternity, search for the permanence. And that is one of the ways, as you said, because what happens? What is really the ultimate goal of dhyana? What is really meditation? Meditation is not a process. It is not a kriya. It is not doing something. It's really realizing, understanding one's true nature. That we are that supreme, eternal, unchanging consciousness named as Atman. Knowing that, realizing that, that is the goal of meditation. That is true meditation. So meditation is not any action. It's a state of awareness, state of highest awareness, where we realize, where we access, where we touch our true real nature. And that is meditation in its highest form. So we have largely understood the why of meditation, because that is the only, as I said, there are other methods also. These are very powerful way in which we can try to reach that ultimate. The essential need to aspire for something like that, that is what's called the search for freedom, the search for the truth, the search for the ultimate. We have understood the dire necessity of such a search, because otherwise there is no end to our sorrow or suffering or whatever negative that we might experience in this life. And one of the ways, a very strong and powerful method is what is called this dhyana or meditation. Now the advantage in this is, it does not presuppose any belief in any particular system or religion or ritual or mythology or anything like that. As against what we're talking about, devotion, which assumes certain basic things. Here, absolutely without any such background, without any such dependence, one can really practice even as we attempt this. So now we will try to practice a little this idea of dhyana, because we have clearly said why is over. Now how do we do it? We'll have a small session of guided meditation. Normally I sit and do, but all of you can sit and do as we progress. I'll be standing and doing it rather than sitting and doing. So the first thing when we start is, because because the body is such a great impediment or an obstacle, the body has to be in a proper position. The way where it is most comfortable. Sukhasana, sitting comfortably and sitting erect. That's why in the Ashtanga Marga Patanjali start with asana. The way we sit is so important. So they say when you sit straight with the back, neck and the head in a straight line, there are certain currents that flow inside the body. A smooth flow of such currents is possible only when these three are in a straight line. So we sit straight with the back, neck, and the head in a straight line. Now, when we meditate, even as we begin, it's very necessary to close the eyes. Why? Because, as I said, they're all meant to go outwards. Eye is the one which brings about maximum amount of experiences. With the ear, you can only hear maybe at a certain distance. Eyes can go far. And eyes are perhaps, you would see, the most restless part of all our organs is our eyes. Here, there, every second, looking in 1,000 directions. So when we try to meditate, because when we want to concentrate, when we really want to go deep inwards, so we should close our eyes. So all of us are sitting straight. All of us, let us please close your eyes. Don't open till I say, till then they will remain closed. Because don't go to sleep. So when you are sitting with your eyes closed, now what happens? Then we try to really go inwards. We find that the mind is wandering in 1,000 directions. In fact, it seems to wander more when we try to meditate. When you're busy with some work or anything, maybe probably only one aspect is attending to. But when we try to meditate, it's going in 1,000 directions. Please close your eyes, all of you. And then, so what is the way? One effort might be, when we sit, let us not try to meditate immediately, but then just make yourself a sakshi or a witness and try to see where all the mind is. Do not try to restrict it. Do not try to control it. Just give a free rein to the mind. Let us go wherever it wants. Let it wander. Good, bad, ugly, nice, sweet. Don't bother. Now, when you do it rigorously, regularly, day after day, you will find that after some time, the wandering reduces and probably a certain amount of calmness comes to the mind. Because, when we try to restrict the mind and control it, it seems to wander in 1,000 directions. When I give it a free rein, the mind starts settling little quickly. Now that is the time when we can begin. So then what happens? There are certain traditional practices. When we sit for meditation, we offer our salutations to the guru or a spiritual teacher. Because any learning, anything that we learn, we need a teacher, much more for a spiritual learning or spiritual knowledge. So we offer our salutations to Guru. It's a beautiful sloka which I will chant and I will explain. You can just listen and mentally offer salutations to your Guru, whosoever be your Guru, whomsoever consider as your mentor or a spiritual teacher. What is this sloka? It says, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. My Guru is Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara, is even beyond that, is verily the Parabrahman. I offer salutations to such a Guru. Sri Ramakrishna himself says, ultimately, our own purified inner self, that is our Guru ultimately. But for practical purposes, initially, we all accept someone as a Guru. We must know that ultimately, our own deep inner self, which is pure, shining, glorious, that's our ultimate Guru, from where we get all inner knowledge finally. How does the Guru help us? Says, Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The Guru, opens our eyes, which are covered with a thick layer of jnana, or ignorance, or darkness, by applying the collyrium or anjana of knowledge. Our salutations to such a Guru. Not only that, when we do sadhana, when we try to practice spiritual disciplines, we are all quite often hampered by our past. Hinduism clearly believes in samskaras due to previous births, whatever we might have done. Then the Guru removes these obstacles, just as fire burns wood. In the same way, it burns away our previous samskaras or karma phalas. How does he do? Aneka janma samprapta karmendhana vidahine atmajnana pradhanena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Aneka janma samprapta, whatever we have acquired through so many births, all that through the karma, whatever we got, karmendana, by the firewood of work, they're all burnt away by Guru in a trice by giving us Atma Jnana, or the knowledge of the self. Now we have really prayed to our Guru, and then we always pray for the welfare of the entire humanity. Sarve bhavantu sukinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. Let everyone be happy, let everyone enjoy good health, let everyone see only auspiciousness all around, let no one suffer dukkha or misery. We pray for the entire humanity, and then we proceed further. Now again, it's very necessary to remind ourselves of our real nature. Because in meditation, what we realize ultimately as to who we are, what's our real nature, that can be reinforced through certain suggestions, through certain ideas, which we get from scriptures, from the lives of saints of realized souls, or people who have really treaded this path. So even as we sit for meditation, then we can remind ourselves of our real nature by chanting certain slokas. I will just chant this for the benefit of all of us. You can listen and remind ourselves. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandaroham. May it all join together. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandaroham. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandaroham. Shuddhoham, Buddhoham, Muktoham, Nityoham. Shuddhoham, Buddhoham, Muktoham, Nityoham. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandaroham. Shivoham, Shivoham, Chidanandaroham. Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. I am that infinite, auspicious, ever free, boundless of the nature of joy and ananda. I am that. Even to imagine, even to say so, would make us feel better, happier, and so on. Then comes the real practice part. There are several types of meditation. The normal one, which is suitable for majority, is concentrating on the form of an object of worship, Ishtadevata or chosen ideal in the heart. There are also Nirakara meditations. One meditation one might try today for a few minutes. Just try to see a bright, shining light in your heart. It's not exactly the form of a flame or an electric bulb or anything like that. You only experience a great glow in your heart. It's glow, it's shining, but it's not the shape of a flame or a lamp or a bulb or anything like that. Just concentrate on that glow, on the shine that is spreading through your entire heart. You feel that presence. You just focus your mind on that. Just remain seated that way, concentrating on that wonderful glow, which is so soothing, so wonderful, and that is spreading a deep sense of joy, happiness, well-being in your personality. Just concentrate on that for the next few minutes. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om Tassat. Sri Ram, Krishna. We'll spend a lot more time, but of course, because we don't have so much time, but to conclude here. Now, if you have questions, you may ask me. Yes. Yeah. See, in our tradition, japa is just taking the particular name, and the japa indicates a personality. That's a Ishtadevata or chosen idea. So then when you concentrate on the form of the Ishtadevata, that is meditation. So that's why prarthana, worship, and dhyana. So after japa, you can do the dhyana. In fact, even while doing japa, there's an idea to start concentrating the form. Then you completely stop japa and do only dhyana. So anyone else? No question online? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. See, Mr. Prasad is asking, although I said during this session that you concentrate on your heart, there are some traditions where they say you can concentrate on the throat or in the sahasrara or in between the eyebrows. The throat and sahasrara, I have not heard much, but meditating between the eyebrows, that is also suggested. In fact, some people may find it easier to concentrate here. But in our tradition, our senior Swamis have clearly said that you should not do it. Because the mind can, without preparation, if you develop concentration, that can take you in a totally different direction. But in heart, anybody can meditate. That will not cause any negative reactions in you. Obviously, it will take time to reach that level of concentration, but it's very safe and secure because heart is supposed to be the seat of Atman or Paramatman. So obviously, it's much safer. But in between the eyebrows, in this Agnya Chakra, some say, but many seniors have advised that it is not good to attempt that because although you can more easily develop concentration. In Gita also there are some slokas where your eyes can easily take them directly to the spot. They say it's not a very safe method of attempting meditation. Yeah. See, the Patanjali Yoga, it starts with, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. Pranayama actually the control of breath, even if not exact pranayama, rhythmic breathing, because there are ways in which you can quieten the mind. Quite often, supposing you are deeply disturbed, then you sit somewhere, you take a deep breath, then suddenly you find that the mind becomes lighter, the mind becomes quieter. So regular practice of pranayama is definitely a great help to quieten the mind and obviously to the process of meditation also. Yeah, see, thing is prescribed like that. Initially, probably it's not very advisable to sit more than half an hour or 45 minutes to start with. Then slowly we can progressively increase the time and take it to a much more deeper level and spend more time in meditation.
Sort of related to that, time, but from a japa standpoint, you think more time on the japa and then the meditation, or
yeah, initially it's better to spend more time on japa. Slowly, when you are really established, then you can spend more time on meditation. Meditation is a very advanced stage of spiritual practice.
Is there a way to track progress as who is the beginner?
You see, obviously, ourselves will know how concentrated the mind is, how far it's able to stick to the practices. So that is one clear indication. We'll know that how much we are able to meditate, how far we are progressing. So it's very self-revealing that way. Anybody else? Yes, Prasad.
Meditation every day.
Yeah.
But what about days?
Yeah. No, it will not be effective at all. No. One has to be very diligent and spend not just a few minutes, hours, even much more. Then only it's possible to reach the goal. See, for example, even people like players, how many hours they spend to practice and perfect something. Today if somebody is admired so much, when they come and perform on stage, we admire. But then how much practice has gone in hours after hours. People, the great musicians, the same raga, the same particular lines, hours. You have to repeat again and again and again and again, 100 times. Then also the Guru is not satisfied. So any mastery requires continuous practice and practice for long hours, not just for a few minutes. Yes. See, time is, he's asking whether time every day is important. It is important. Why? Because that's how we develop samskaras, abhyasa. When you do it a particular time, the mind settles down much more easily at that time. Because slowly the mind would understand, oh, this is the time for meditation. I should not wander, I should not do anything. And also when you keep a discipline, it's easier to take control of the time. Even if that anything comes, you say, no, I'm not going to do because this is my time for meditation. That way. So particular time, particular place, all these are all great helps in meditation. Thank you.